Hi, Yvonne Tunney. I'm Secretary with the Karumba Progress Association and also a business owner in town.
Hi Yvonne, what's the impact on the community with the current water supply situation?
Yeah, fairly significant at the moment. Basically, a lot of the bigger industry has been asked to sort of stop a lot of their activities, waiting for the filtration unit to turn up that they're bringing in. And it's the unknown as to how that supply is going to be once they get the filtration unit in place, and then how long that's actually going to impact on the town. Certainly everybody in town's pulling their weight, but yeah, it's quite concerning.
And what other major flood issues are there within the community?
Fairly significant ones. Resupply has been a big issue because the supply of fresh fruit and vegetables particularly has been erratic and hasn't been able to get to a level where it's actually maintaining with the demand. And certainly because we don't have a sealed airstrip here, a lot of our issues are around the fact that resupply of perishables has to go to Normpton by flight and then down here by barge. So, and there's other issues too. Everybody in town's aware that we've got a bit of a tenuous power issue that's being kept an eye on. We have businesses who've stood down staff because they can't get goods in or out, and their general business has taken a nosedive anyway. And there's other costs that are now being passed on to the community of businesses just trying to keep doing business. Certainly with fuel, we've got a situation with very little unleaded fuel. They're bringing some in, but it's certainly not keeping up with demand. So in general, there's just a lot of issues that this community has been facing.
And what other issues are there surrounding the airstrip?
Well, the issues with the airstrip are that if the offer to reseal what we've got, to actually seal what we've got, it only helps us out in one area, and that is the future of medical evacuations, which of course is an important one for the community. But it's a very short-sighted view. With a longer sealed airstrip, we've got the ability to look at economic development, we've got the ability to bring resupply directly into the town in periods of isolation, and certainly it can also, with looking at relocating to another area around the region here, is to free up some very valuable land and then fund the building of a new airstrip by selling the land of the existing airstrip. And that also addresses some safety issues about the direction of the current strip. But all in all, you know, with the current rhetoric from the state and federal government about investment in economic development and diversification, we're not seeing that in the decisions being made at that level at this stage. We're seeing a very backward response.
And how are the Karumba people affected with jobs, business, fishing and emotionally with the current flood situation?
There's a great deal of frustration in town, and everybody here plans for about a 4 to 6 week isolation every year. That's normal, we expect that. But everybody knows that that's what we've had already, and we're looking at least another 4 to 6 weeks of isolation if there's no further rain in the catchment area. And so the big issues really come around, you know, how is business really going to continue? We've got tradespeople in town who are standing down employees, and some who are just basically going to stop work because they can't get supplies in and out. We've got a number of industries through the town who've already stood employees down, or who are having to bear the burden of continuing to pay the wages for staff who actually don't have any work to do. So those other things are passing through the community. So we're getting costs going up on certain goods where some businesses have had to pay the additional cost of barging goods in to keep going. Those costs are then passed on to a community that's already under pressure. And I think, you know, really there's a lot of issues there, and very minimal, if any, support assistance is available through the current state and federal government packages, and that's the real concern. They talk about the assistance packages, but in reality most of them don't apply to businesses and people in this community.
Thanks very much, Yvonne.